Erdogan fires back after Trump's appeal to join the Abraham Accords, openly rejecting pressure to fall in line with Israel's normalization wave. This tyrant will learn. Erdogan uses his al-Adha message to personally slam Netanyahu, accusing him of brutalizing Gaza. Is Turkey openly rebelling as Trump leans on Arab allies and regional partners to improve ties with Israel on Washington's terms? Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan delivered a sharp rebuke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on May 27, directly targeting his leadership and decisions. He called Netanyahu a tyrant and strongly condemned Israel's ongoing military campaign in Gaza, accusing him of driving immense civilian suffering. Erdogan made these remarks while speaking to reporters on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, using the holiday backdrop to underscore his political message. He added that the situation in Gaza had cast a dark shadow over Eid celebrations for Muslims in Turkey, saying joy was overshadowed by images of war and destruction. Erdogan said, quote, "Above all, holidays are days of love, respect, unity, togetherness, and solidarity. I also believe that the tyrant known as Netanyahu will learn the necessary lesson at the hands of the world's Muslims. Hopefully, we will see this soon." Unquote. This came after reports that Trump had been pressing Arab nations to normalize ties with Israel, further inflaming Erdogan's criticism of the regional diplomatic push. Donald Trump reportedly told Arab and Muslim leaders that he expects progress on ties with Israel after an Iran deal. An Axios report said the message came during a May 23 call with regional leaders. According to Axios, leaders on the call told Trump they supported the emerging deal with Tehran. The call reportedly included Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain. Trump then asked countries outside the Abraham Accords to normalize relations with Israel. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Pakistan notably still do not have formal diplomatic relations with Israel. One official told Axios there was silence on the line after Trump made the request. Axios also reported that Trump then joked by asking whether the leaders were still on the call. One official said Trump told the group he would speak with Benjamin Netanyahu next. The Trump administration now appears to be looking at a broader expansion of the Abraham Accords in the aftermath of an Iran deal. Donald Trump said he has instructed U.S. negotiators not to rush into any agreement with Iran as talks continue over a possible deal. On May 24, Trump stated that the U.S. blockade would remain in place until a final agreement is formally signed between the parties involved. The remarks marked a noticeable shift after Trump had claimed just a day earlier that a deal was already largely negotiated. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "If I make a deal with Iran, it will be a good and proper one, not like the one made by former President Barack Obama, which gave Iran massive amounts of cash and a clear and open path to a nuclear weapon. Our deal is the exact opposite, but nobody has seen it, or knows what it is. It isn't even fully negotiated yet. So don't listen to the losers, who are critical about something they know nothing about. Unlike those before me who should have solved this problem many years ago, I don't make bad deals." Unquote. According to Al Jazeera, Trump appeared to be stepping back from the proposed deal amid growing internal political pressure. Meanwhile, U.S. officials told Reuters that Iran had agreed in principle to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Officials also said the current framework could provide negotiators with up to 60 days to finalize a broader agreement. Trump administration officials reportedly claimed that Mujtaba Khamenei had endorsed the broad framework of the proposed deal. However, Tasnim news agency reported that the United States was still resisting key Iranian demands, including the release of frozen Iranian financial assets. Marco Rubio told the New York Times that a nuclear agreement could not be finalized in 72 hours on back of a napkin. Rubio said negotiations involving Iran's uranium enrichment program and nuclear stockpile would likely require much more time. The U.S. Secretary of State added that reopening the Strait of Hormuz remained the immediate priority for Washington. Amid the growing uncertainty, Iranian officials said no final understanding could be reached without approval from Mujtaba Khamenei. Iranian sources told CBS News that Khamenei was operating from a highly restricted and undisclosed location. CBS reported that the isolation had slowed communication between Iranian officials and US negotiators involved in the talks. Reports also stated that even Iranian diplomats were facing difficulty communicating directly with Khamenei during the ongoing negotiations. Amid rising hopes for a ceasefire framework, Trump is now insisting that only he can decide Iran's future, portraying himself as the sole arbiter of any final arrangement. On May 24, he told an American network that signing any final Iran deal is totally up to me, stressing that nothing will be agreed without his personal approval. Trump insisted that if there's news, it's only going to be good news, adding that he doesn't make bad deals, a line meant to reassure both domestic supporters and nervous partners abroad. He said he has instructed his negotiators not to rush into a deal with Tehran, arguing that moving too fast could lock in terms that fall short of US objectives. Trump claimed that time is on our side as talks continue, signaling that he believes Iran is under more pressure from sanctions and the blockade than Washington is from the war's costs. Officials in Washington have made clear the naval blockade on Iran will remain in place until an agreement is reached and signed, keeping economic and military pressure firmly on Tehran during negotiations. Trump said, and I quote, "One of the worst deals ever made by our country was the Iran nuclear deal, put forth and signed into existence by Barack Hussein Obama and the rank amateurs of the Obama administration. It was a direct path to Iran developing a nuclear weapon. Not so with the transaction currently being negotiated with Iran by the Trump administration. The exact opposite, in fact. The negotiations are proceeding in an orderly and constructive manner, and I have informed my representatives not to rush into a deal, and that time is on our side. The blockade will remain in full force and effect until an agreement is reached, certified, and signed. Both sides must take their time and get it right. There can be no mistakes. Our relationship with Iran is becoming a much more professional and productive one. They must understand, however, that they cannot develop or procure a nuclear weapon or bomb." Unquote. Meanwhile, Benjamin Netanyahu has said Trump personally assured him that Iran's nuclear threat will be eliminated, not just managed or delayed. Netanyahu claims their discussions covered security in the Strait of Hormuz, ceasefire terms on current battlefields and, crucially, the shape of final-stage nuclear negotiations. The Israeli premier insists any final deal must dismantle Iran's enrichment facilities, arguing that merely limiting or monitoring them is not enough to guarantee long-term security. He has also demanded that enriched uranium be physically removed from Iranian territory, saying that as long as the material stays inside Iran, the risk of a breakout remains. However, reports say Iran currently refuses to discuss detailed nuclear issues in the present round of Memorandum of Understanding talks, keeping that file off the table for now. Tehran reportedly wants nuclear questions postponed until later, final agreement negotiations, hoping to secure security guarantees and sanctions relief language before touching its most sensitive program.